helps more when you're seeing the person who is speaking. I'm one of those persons that always, when I'm looking at somebody, it enters. So if you've sorted that out and you're able to do that, that would really be lovely. Thank you.
Yes, yes. It's going to be switched on, I assure you, in a very short time. The system is already coming on.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. So as I said, the petition of the Labour Party is one that has raised very germane, recondite, and intriguing constitutional and legal issues. I, as an undergraduate, have always been fascinated by election petition. As a matter of fact, in my final year in the university, I think I was basically the only undergraduate student of my set that undertook my final year research project in election petition, which with the topic issues and challenges in the adjudication of election petition and the future of democracy in Nigeria. So this is an area of law that I've always been very intrigued and very interested in. And that has also influenced the way in which I have followed the electoral process, for my time for the couple of years. And I have also had to study certain fundamental precedents, Supreme Court decisions, and so on, that explain some of the principles I'm going to be speaking to. Now, recall I had explained who can present a petition. And please pardon me if I try in my explanation of law to break it down. So I may not belabor you with so much of the sections and provisions. I will try to make it in a manner that everybody can relate to. Now, the Labour Party and the candidate, Peter Obi, have filed a joint petition. And I'm aware that I think Friday or Thursday or so, they have gotten an order to serve the petition on the respondents. The respondents to an election petition, by law, there can only be 3 sets of respondents. The first, or the primary respondent, is the electoral umpire, which we usually list as the first respondent, INEC. The second is the candidate, and the third is the party. But of course, there is no rule regarding how, in terms of priority, how they should be listed, but this is what the practice is. So because it is INEC that conducts the election, it is expected that it should have the primary responsibility to give account of that election. Now, in the petition filed by Labour Party, if you have a copy of it, you would have seen that these 3 entities have been listed. That is INEC, the party, APC, and its candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And interestingly, they have also joined Kashim Shettima. And I will explain why Kashim Shettima is part of that, because he is the candidate. And the Supreme Court has ruled in the James Faleke's case that a running mate is also a candidate and had every right to bring a petition. And some persons have asked me, why is that not part of the petition, being a running mate to Peter Obi? Some people within the obedient movement have reached out to me to seek answer. Let me just quickly say that, as I explained earlier, the right to present a petition accrues or inures, as lawyers would say, to a candidate or party. So there was no need to join that. That does not affect the validity, the competence, or the propriety of the petition. The petition is on solid footing as far as the question of local standard is concerned. Now, what are the issues? Again, in understanding the issues, you must also know the laws governing election. One is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, some of which provisions I may refer to. You have second, the Electoral Act, 2022. The third primary source of our electoral law is the guidelines and regulations issued by INEC, pursuant to the provisions of the Electoral Act. The guidelines themselves are what we call, it is a subsidiary legislation, right? You have the Constitution, in the order of priority, the Constitution, the Electoral Act, the INEC guidelines, and what they call the election officials manual for election officials. I have all these documents, I have scrutinized them in relation to the current election.